Wait, actually, what's my name gonna be on this pod?
Welcome back to the bathroom, and today we are joined by our beautiful, sexy, illustrious, double-ended fork,
Hung like a fucking horse.
also known as Pill Cosby.
Yes, sir, that is me.
I like how for our first episode that we ever did, you just named yourself Pill Cosby because the new Bill Cosby came out. Because our first episode was recorded a long time before we started uploading them, and then we just stuck with it. Like none of us changed our name. Bathroom is bathroom. Tragic is tragic. Pill is pill.
Yes, and all those other people who've been coming on the show, those are not me. Please stop conflating me with those other guest stars who have been on the show. People, I see what you're saying.
Hey guys, so Pill kind of got a little bit of the schizo, so just don't mention those other people, okay? Okay, thanks.
Hey, I ain't no schizo, and I ain't taking my meds.
Hey,
You
look
ain't
at
gonna
that! Hey,
hear
look
from
at
me.
this shiny little coin.
Oh wow. Ooh, ooh. Hey,
Okay,
wait a
anyway,
second. They go up.
Pill. What's today's soap of the day?
Oh, today's soap of the day, actually. Today's soap of the day is about oh shoot, I need a good way to phrase this. It's about things that were meant to make our lives better, but in bringing us that convenience, have unironically have made our lives worse. Inconvenient conveniences, I would say.
Why do you sound like you're reading off a script? Which is funny because we don't have scripts. Which is also funny because like, how's that a soap?
Well, shit. Where's my gotta get rid of my script. I mean, today's soap of the day is sponsored by Dove.
Wait, what? That is not our sponsor. Also, this is not the podcast that's getting sponsored. It's the one we're recording anyway. But yeah, why do I keep asking you in bathroom to do the soaps when I feel like we do it every episode for some reason? You guys always seem like you are not ready for it, or like not thinking about it, or just not ready in general. And then you're like, you know what? The soap is our topic for the day. I'm like, yeah, it is, but you can also just make it bullshit, and just tie it back around. Like, you know what? Why don't you ask me? For once, let's reverse the script. You ask me.
I will ask you, but I just want you to know that was future thinking right there. In case Dove did want to sponsor us, the work is already done. I already dropped the name. Now we're just waiting on you.
Manifesting.
Try to, but try to, what is our soap of the day then?
Our soap of the day is imagining things that make other people's lives easier, but makes everyone else's lives so much worse.
You literally just said what I said.
No, but listen, but I said it louder.
Okay, but I said it off of the
Okay, okay.
script.
Ask me again for real, for real.
All right, tragic. I have not bathed in 30 days, so tell me, what is the soap of the day?
We're gonna be using gasoline soap mixed with a little bit of honey soap, mixed with a little bit of microchip soap, mixed with a little bit
Oh,
of what's the last thing? What's the last thing?
uh, homeless people on the subway soap.
Oh yeah, homeless people soap. Well, that's technically gasoline. Yeah, today we're gonna be talking about things that, on the surface, they're like, oh yeah, we're the people designing this thing. We're the people that's like making sure that's gonna work. This is gonna be great, and then it comes out, and everyone's just like, this sucks so badly.
Well, it's not even that they just suck. They do objective good things for our lives,
They don't do
but their
objective
side
good
effects.
things for anyone live. They actually straight up like are harming most. They're mainly harming people, but they
Okay,
help
okay, okay,
they help the people it helps, and it harms everyone else. It doesn't help.
okay. But let's say something like public transport though first. Like there's just the entire design of like the way we structure our urban centers in America, very car centric. That does do good things for us because it does make it easier to get routes to like commute to work and everything, which makes it easier for everyone to have access to a job. But it does add bad to our lives, with like increased pollution in urban centers, terrible public transport schemes, public
Well,
transport being
so it goes further than that. Let's identify the people who designed it. Let's identify why it could have been better and how to fix it. So, car centric design. It was created when the urban sprawl happened. Back in the day, everyone used public transport. You hop on the trolley. You like take your little lunch pail that had like a piece of bread and a stick of celery to work, and you use that to power you through your 12 to 15 hour shift. at the factory making freaking stamps where you
Yep.
you know, back in the day when you need a lot of stamps because you couldn't groom children on Discord. You had to do it through mail, so you need a lot of stamps. So the stamp factory was just chugging. So back in the day, everyone used public transport to get to the factory, but then urban sprawl started happening as they moved away from industrialization, and then these huge communities of just houses upon houses and rows upon rows. People would have to get in their car and they need a way to get, first of all, just to even get out of the neighborhood. If you try to walk out of this neighborhood, it would take you like 20 minutes. You know what that 20 minutes means? That's 20 minutes. Big boy, top hat, little oil baron McFudley is not making profit from you. So he gave you a little treat. He gave you a little horse carriage without a horse. The horse is made out of fire. It's made out of gasoline, and he used that to get out of the neighborhood and into the factory a little bit faster, and then it slowly the sprawl, like from the movie The Thing, started oozing away, and through that
Okay, but
ooze, you needed cars. So yeah, cars made your lives easier for a thing that they were created to make easier. There, our world was created for cars, and because of that, we need cars. It's like a perpetuating cycle.
okay, but like you can't deny the obvious benefits that come with us needing depending on these cars. But think about it. You have to go visit your pedophile uncle that your family cut off, who lives all the way in Missouri or whatever. How are you gonna go visit him if you live in like bumfuck Kentucky if you don't have a car?
Well,
You could
here's
walk there.
well, here's the thing. In the early days, the people who were creating roads and urban planning were people with a vested interest in the automotive industry. Because even back then, lobbying existed. GM, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know which company they were, but the car companies they lobbied the government saying, "Hey, all this money you want to put to connect the country and really get Manifest Destiny really going? Well, you should make roads that are good for cars instead of putting it into train lines or buses or just like walkable streets. Because if you make it so that only really cars are good for this, people are going to buy the cars. They're like, oh, I could walk down this street, which is just like barren, no shade, or I could get in a car. Guess I'm going to buy the car.
Exactly. Start staging around.
And then because of
You
that,
can't.
well, because of that, you could have had, but they could have spent the money on public transportation. And then, honestly, to visit your pedophile uncle in Missouri, you could have taken a bullet train that would get you there in 30 minutes. Because, like, if you drove, it would take you like 4 to 5 hours. You're stuck in traffic. If you got on a train, it objectively actually would be a lot faster. The only reason it isn't is because train infrastructure today, which is a whole different topic I'll talk about, because I am indeed the tism that knows about trains. Uh,
Okay, but if you ask me though, the train would get you there faster, but the train you don't have agency in where a train goes. It has a predefined track. The illusion of free
Yeah,
will. The
but the thing
train
is,
can only.
but the thing about free will is like, how much free will do you really need to go from point A to point B? I just want to get there.
No, but okay, your pedophile uncle lives in a town with 14 people. They are putting a train stop there. You can't just take a train to get to
But
his
they could have.
house.
Imagine if the car industry didn't lobby. Because really think about how many cars we have, how many parking garages, how many parking lots, how many roads we have. Imagine if half of that was put into public transport, we could connect every single house to a bus lane or bus loop.
All I'm gonna
Also,
say
like
is
another
if you,
thing, the reason trains suck, and you don't know what good trains are. The reason trains suck is
you
because
said
no, it's because in America right now, the train lines that exist are geared and optimized for transporting raw materials and lumber, or like commerce and capitalism. And those trains move slowly, which make it almost impossible for passenger trains to get there on time, especially because surprisingly, the commodity trains have priority, despite the fact they're slow. And then think about it. Why would you want a faster car, which would burn more fuel, which would potentially put more wear and tear on the train, which might even get into a collision more or an accident more willingly, and then you lose all your cargo? First, you keep the small train, and you're like, oh, that train full of people trying to get to work? Ah, I have priority. They can wait. That type of thing. Capitalism doesn't incentivize the trades to be good.
okay, but at the same time though, if you do put in all that money, say capitalism did invest into all the trains, buses, and everything, so everybody has their own personalized route to get them to exactly where they want to be, rather than hubs that they would use to just walk or take a different form to where their actual destination is. You basically just reinvented cars. but now they're just not owned by people because the amount of buses or trains you would need to do to connect every place a person would want to go to basically just reinvents the road system with like Ubers and trains, I guess, rather than just everyone having their own personalized cars.
But it would be like, it would be steady, it would be predictable.
Would it though?
It would have a better community aspect. You'd have be more communal. You'd have a better environmental impact, better noise pollution. And true, there are some downsides. I must say, by the way, I'm not saying cars don't exist. Maybe people still have cars, but for the most part, they take the. Let's say you mainly take the train to go to work, to go to the gym. You know, the easy things. If you like all of a sudden just wanted to go to your creepy uncle's place, and you check the train line, you're like, oh, it'll take 2 hours to get there by train. It'll take about an hour or two to get there by car, so I'll just take car. But also, think about it. Trains and buses will make driving a car better because there'll be less people on the road. Like, you know how a free market equilibrium, right? It works, right?
Yep.
As soon as more people start driving on the road, it takes longer and more traffic to get there. And then because of that, people are like, oh, I may as well just take the train because they're like, let's say it takes an hour to get to Missouri on the route you're picking, and then on a train it takes 2 hours. So you drive. But let's say more and more people drive, and it bumps up to 2 hours. So you're like, all right, well, I may as well go on the train so I can like I don't know, play Fortnite on my Switch while I wait. You know, like it'll balance itself out. But because the freaking little Mr. McSquiggly Bottom put his hand on the scale and slammed it down all the way to the ground. It's like, no, we are doing cars, and everything else is for poor people.
Okay, but at the same time, though, like you said with the equilibrium, everything, not just the amount of people on the road, will shift. If there's less people on the road because less people have cars, see, we're approaching this from a point in society where we already have all of these roads because we have all of these cars. But if that happens, there's not going to be as many roads, and the traffic situation won't change because we'll have less roads to support those less cars because there's no incentive to build them. And then you've still got traffic
But don't forget,
and
buses
less.
will still exist. The buses have to get to places, and like I said, roads will still exist because people need to drive their cars places too. It's just like the
Yeah, I guess
roads will be wider. There'll be dedicated bus lanes, and there'll be more train tracks
cab
and
because
faster train tracks.
those all that space is being used up by
Listen,
like space trains.
I've been paid by Big Autism to talk about how great trains are and how cars are the devil. And you've been paid by Big Lightning McQueen to talk about how badly you want more cars on the road because you just get so fucking horny looking at those tailpipes.
Just because Exxon has sponsored me to come on this podcast does not mean I have a conflict of interest, Sweaty.
By the way, that's not Exxon with the X, that's Exxon with the G. They're
Exactly.
they're a
And
company that pays you to wear eggs and then get into a car.
yes, but either way, all I'm saying is that even if they do invest in some bus lanes and everything, they're not going to have those 6 lane urban streets you see in New York. They're going to have like a lane dedicated for buses, increase sidewalk space will support more like places going to subways for trains, and you'll get like 1 or 2 lanes for normal people's car traffic. So either way, you're going
But
to
you
run.
forget though, if we started off from a place of public transport, our cities would be built to be more friendly to people who are doing public transport, and then the cars would be for like niche use cases versus the default use case.
Okay, but when has the U.S. ever designed something to be friendly to its people? Let's be honest here.
Dude, have you been to Auschwitz?
Wait, have I been to Auschwitz?
Anyway, moving on. Uh, I don't even know why that's
Yes,
why. Have you been to the World Trade Center?
yes, once, and I never looked back, and I don't think I would be welcome back.
Anyway, that's a little bit of the past of decisions that make everything worse for everyone else. Let's talk about some things that are presently fucking us up, like pollen. Oh
I
god, it's
mean,
like spring right now. And
people short for that.
pill, do you have allergies?
Yeah, I'm allergic to
Don't
I'm
say it.
allergic to women age of 12 actually.
Ignoring that. No. So, are you allergic to pollen at all?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm allergic to pollen. See, I'm something of a pollen connoisseur myself, but as a straight man. See, I simply just don't breathe in pollen. That's basically like cum from plants. And, that you would be extremely gay to put that in my nose.
I'm glad you brought that up because here's the thing. Well, talking more about the allergy thing. While of course there are people who are allergic to pollen, and a lot of people you've heard people say, "Oh, I'm allergic to pollen. I'm allergic to pollen," which is very true. And honestly, it makes springtime like not very fun. An important thing to know that a lot of people probably don't realize is that pollen doesn't just affect you if you're allergic to it. It also affects you if you're not allergic to it. Because it's basically, if you think about it, it's basically an air pollutant. It's a bunch of sticky, just like DNA, just grabbing anything, saying like, hey there, baby. You wanna split with me and then make a little thingy? Yeah. That's
I,
basically
I
pollen.
would,
And it's doing that on your lungs, it's doing that in your eyes, it's doing that in all the soft tissue in your body. And because of
okay,
that,
so this is
huh?
what you're saying is that all this pollen in there is I'm taking a plant bukkake 24/7 in every orifice in my body
And
as we speak right
unconsensual,
now.
yeah.
It's kind of hot, actually. I mean,
Shut
I'm
up,
still
shut up,
straight.
shut up. Anyway, so this is all happening because obviously pollen is sticky. It's meant to like get into the membrane and work its way into it's meant to work its way through the system of a plant, the capillary and all that. But we're not plants. And it's like basically an air pollutant, and it causes inflammation because your body's like, hey, there's so much like gunk in the soft, like watery, wet squid. Anyway, I'm sorry, I was getting distracted thinking about Anyway, uh, so your body has a reaction to it. Not sometimes it's allergic, and I think for most people with allergies, it's even worse because it's allergic and it just like goes into overdrive. But even for regular people, your nose will run, your eyes will itch, you'll cough because it's just causing inflammation everywhere. The soft tissue. Now, bathroom, my sweet sweet science boy. Do you know why
Uh,
there's so much pollen in the air?
well, one, because plants are horny, but I'm still not bathroom though. That was extremely racist of you. But either way,
I almost called you
you see, when it
tragic. If
comes,
that I almost called you tragic. If that makes you feel better.
yes, I would rather be tragic if you ask me. But either way, if you think about it logically, right? Every time you get to spring, okay, plants are already made of wood. What is something else we use wood to describe? That's right, an erect penis. And what do erect penis
Why they
do?
got to be erect, huh? Why can't? Well, what if you can't get erect, huh? Can I still call it wood if it's like a little floppy boy?
Maybe you could call that driftwood, like the little logs that are floating down the water, them soggy shits that aren't good for anything. Maybe that's how you can describe your ED. But either way, you've got these nice, tall, dark, thick planks of pure wood. And what do those do in humans? They release the ejaculate into the air. So why wouldn't humans be doing that every spring? Especially because spring is colloquially, um, what's the word? Associated with mating season. So it's basically mating season for plants. So they're coming into the air because that's what you do during mating season.
I don't really do it into the air, but I see your point. Well, another big problem is the reason there's so much pollen. Think about it. Why there's so much cum? Because there's so many men. All the trees are men, and the reason I almost called you Badgick. I almost called you Badgick.
Gotcha.
Just a Dragon Ball Z fusion between me and bathroom.
I need to see that happen actually.
Anyway, so pill. Do you know the reason why all these plants are men?
Well, if you think about it logically as well, it's probably the same reason why all humans on Earth should be men as well, but we
Okay,
haven't
well
figured
anyway,
it.
so the reason is because do you know what the female plants do when they're fertilized? I'm so scared of your answer.
Well, okay, so then I assume the answer you're not looking for is they lose all of their worth.
God damn it. You're not. No, bathroom's supposed to be the install, not you.
So my apologies.
Anyway, so what happens is they have flower. They grow flower, they grow fruit. Fruit drops down, they rot. And then, some people are planting trees like, huh, man, this was a lot of work. I would hope to never come back here. Let me just plant a male tree. so that I don't have to worry about cleaning up this goddamn fruit. And because of that, everyone within a 35-mile radius will be just absolutely butt fucked with all this pollen.
It's kind of a metaphor for humanity. Men are just less
No, it isn't.
prepared.
So, God damn it. Continue.
Just
How is it a metaphor for humanity?
well, like you said, there's all these problems when you have female plants, especially when it comes to cleaning up after them, and they don't
Okay,
even
okay, okay,
provide
okay,
anything.
okay, okay. God damn it. As soon as you said the female plants, I'm like, ah, no.
You need to hear these simple, hard
We're
questions.
saving it for the red pill episode, okay? That I might be putting off forever, so I never have to deal with the backlash from our new sponsors. I'm kidding. Can you imagine if we
The
got
final
Sephora?
school.
I imagine we got Sephora on our podcast.
We can make that happen, Sephora. I know you're watching this.
I know you're watching. But yeah, because of some groundskeeper, they're like, hey, let's just make them all male plants to make it either. Like, think about how hard it is to enjoy nature when you're just constantly sneezing or coughing or all that. It's like it literally just becomes kind of like you see the show Fallout. It becomes like a Fallout light.
I have not seen Fallout, but I agree.
But yeah, but you know what else is ruining our current everyday?
What is the things?
Bro, look at your freaking script. Like you read it when you're not supposed to. Now you don't want to read it. Like anyway, it's scrolling in social media in general. But specifically, we're going to be focusing on the TikTok format, on the scrolling format, on the endless scroll, as you will call it.
Sorry, I was just going through Instagram Reels. I did not hear a word you just said. What were we talking about?
So anyway, one of the problems with scrolling is it hijacks your attention, as you can see from Pill's inability to pay attention. And so tell me, bathroom. Oh, sorry, I was scrolling, so I forgot your name. Do you know who invented the infinite scroll?
Yeah,
I'll give
put
you
my
a
money.
hint. It's a company that I love hating on. Actually,
Meta.
wait, that doesn't narrow it down at all.
That's very true. The CIA.
Okay, first of all, how dare you talk about that to our sweet baby boy, Sia?
So my apologies.
Okay, so it was actually invented by Asa Raskin, which is the son of an Apple executive, Jeff Raskin. So it seemed like, it was like great. It's like, oh, instead of clicking to pick the next thing, you just swipe. It's like you're just going through this thing that just never ends. It's like the internet. The infinite internet is just right at your fingertips. You don't have to press buttons. You don't have to wait for pages to load. It's just great.
And you see, it was meant to make our lives better because they're thinking, oh, well, we just bring the content to you and people love it. But you see what it's done to our societies? Now we have this brain rotted group of zombies that we call Zoomers
Dude, even
walking
even
around.
Raskin said he hates it. He said he called it behavioral cocaine, and every other site had like trying to maximize it to like increase what's the word engagement. You know what else? You know what else is an engagement? Like to a woman, and you know what women lead to? Don't answer that. Anyway, so
Uh, Either way, dude, I might actually go on an incel rant about this because I've got strong feelings on this topic about how every single website is trying to be the same now. They see the best website that's there to farm engagement, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or whatever. Now every site has to be like it, no matter what. Even fucking sites that sell you shit, and that's all they're good for. They've
dude,
somehow found a way to put infinite scrolling in those and added stories and all that bullshit because everything wants to be the same. There's no website that can just give you a unique experience anymore.
yeah, the final straw will be when iFunny goes to infinite scroll. Can you imagine scrolling and you see a beheading right next to just like a half naked TikTok dancer, and then you perfectly crop it so you can look at both at once?
Didn't that literally be Instagram like 2 weeks ago or something?
First of all, that's Twitter. You're thinking of Twitter.
I think there was literally an issue on Instagram where they were showing people like elephants stomping on people's heads and like ISIS beheadings and then like child porn and like the next real thing, regardless of what your suggestions were.
I thought you
That's what I've
wait.
been hearing.
Oh, I thought that was just my account. To be fair, that's like every day.
Well, maybe that might have just been my account too, but
Yeah, but then this infinite scrolling thing, like apart from just like farming engagement, it also makes your mental health worse because you're constantly like thinking, oh, you know, like, once you pick a thing and engage with it, the next thing on the feed is immediately that. You don't have a choice of picking something else. It's given to you. It's chosen for you. It's handed to you. It's mandated to you. It's a dictatorship on your online life. Like, think about it. In our current everyday life, we face fascism. We face Israel, which is also fascism, uh, and then
You just lost the sponsor with that one.
we lost every sponsor. So because of that, you don't we fight against that in real life, but online we kind of just let advertisers get away with it. We let advertisers decide what we see, how we see, when we see, what's allowed to be seen, and it's just like we have very little say in our on the algorithms. Like, think about it. How many times have you seen a fire meme that you're like, oh, I gotta send this to someone, it'll repair my relationship, and then Instagram's like, all right, time to refresh, and then just refresh the page just to make sure that you can see more ads. By the way, I found out they do that because you can see more ads. It makes sure that you can see more ads. Like, it's all about ads. I don't know if I'm saying ads so much, but it's not
What
good for the
aspect?
user, really. It's good for engagement. It's good for money, and it's
Is
gonna.
this though? 'Cause what aspect of life was supposed to be increased with all these ads? Because tell me one time you've seen an ad online and it has encouraged your decision making, even if it's many years in advance to buy a product because you saw an ad of it online.
Yeah, Tinder is how I got laid.
Well, case closed, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, we're accepting this dictatorship over our online lives. And also, more than that, it also can kind of just make you a little bit stupid. Because you've heard of echo chambers and bubbles and Trump supporters and anti vaxxers and
That's
bathrooms
cheating.
mixtape. All of these are things that turn your brain inside out. It makes you believe things that aren't real.
Just like the intellectual idiots, actually.
The only echo chamber you guys need. Now available on YouTube, Castbox, Stitcher, YouTube Marketplace, Facebook Messenger. I just made some stuff up. I don't even know.
Fuck it, we'll put it on 4chan if we needed to.
Yeah, but best part, I'll put it on iFunny. Actually, I think maybe I should make it on iFunny just cause. Why not?
That's it.
Yeah, but infinite scroll, no free will, not even once. So
And you know
that's
what's even worse? You know what's even worse? Because to develop that shit even further, you know what they've implemented into that to make sure they don't even have to put in work to get your engagement? They've infused all that algorithm bullshit with fucking artificial intelligence.
and now we're going to be talking about the future of what we're creating that's going to make our lives worse. Now, this is a unique opportunity, like with pollen, which we can honestly still do stuff about. We can like dig up the okay, not dig up the trees, but we start planting more female trees. We can have more flowering shrubs. We can have more. By the way, make sure you pick plants that are related so they can actually start absorbing some of that pollen. Along with the social media feed, we can come up with new app ideas, and then just you can also just take a break from the screens. That's something to do. For the car centric design, that's kind of fully entrenched in society and will be a lot harder to dig up. Like, you can start voting for more bus and train initiatives,
Guys,
but that's the best you can do. But now AI, you are able to be at the forefront of making sure this shit doesn't suck because it's just starting. Take it away, Bill.
but see, at this point, though, I don't even know if that's possible because a lot of the benefits from AI, we've already gotten it. Because the best things you can get out of AI is just doing dumb bullshit we can already do that's tedious and doing fun stuff with AI. And once you get past that, the only thing left to do is exploit it for profit, which people attempt to do that to make quote unquote make lives
People have already
better.
done. People literally do that from like day one. Let's be honest.
You know, but like it's getting to the point where now it's like an actual worth it thing to go through. So now you've got more people saturating into AI, releasing all this bullshit we don't need, just low effort, low quality slop that they can sell to us and make money from doing basically nothing by just profiting off of other people's work. And now that's plaguing everything on the internet just because it's easier now.
Yeah, and more than that, even with AI as it's being created, what was the first thing people did? People immediately tried to figure out a way to make this thing make the money, like scammers, and
Scamming
also
and porn.
I don't think ChatGPT was used for porn quite yet. Actually, maybe it was used for smut. Who knows? But it's while it's allowing people to leverage collective humanity and collective efforts, it's also taking the worst of people. It's helping scammers make fake courses. It's flop. So, Pill, tell me, what was the reason why prior to ChatGPT and large language models, most of the stuff we saw online was shit posts, and we're actually kind of good because people put a little bit of effort into them. But now you see a lot of slop where it's like this is like useless data for no reason. You know, do you know what it was that created that?
I mean, it's like, it just all goes back to like the engagement farming and shit, like you said. Because now people who want to
Well,
get your attention need to put in effort into like shit posting or whatever, getting into communities, getting to know what people like. Just throw that into an AI, have it generate something that thinks that people will like, and if the people don't like it and they retaliate against it, you've got yourself engagement right there. Or they
well,
might be
yeah,
fooled by
you cleared up on that too. If people make something that people don't like, they just have the AI make it again. What do you do when you normally make a post that people don't like? You scrutinize it. You're like, oh, people don't like this. People don't like my work, and then they delete it and they make a new one and they put a little bit of effort. They put iterative learning, but AI can turn out generate hundreds and hundreds of just random bullshit that no one likes and that are slightly different and hopefully can catch people's attention. One might make it, but the rest are just random stuff. Now the internet is just full of stuff that people don't want, whether it be the people who are viewing it or the people who made it, because it was making it for the sake of making it. It wasn't tailored. Like have you heard of prompt engineering?
yeah, I think I have actually. So that's like basically finding out what the best prompts are to like insert into different language models to get like the best outputs, right?
Yeah. So even people who, when they're creating things, they don't do prompt engineering. They just say a very short sentence and hope that it produces what they want. They don't even put
Yeah.
in the effort to. They don't even put in the effort to make the AI really like learn what they want and do what they want. Like I use AI for our scripts, and I like use long prompts to get exactly what I want. But
Oh, I
then
am in.
you're not an AI. You're the best AI. That's
Okay,
why.
but that implies.
That's why I made sure to add a pussy port.
Yes, I am just a giant fleshlight.
You're not giant. That'd be too big. But also, our chief dictator in office right now, Trump, has actually made it so that even children in kindergarten and pre-K must learn about AI. So from a young age, you too can create slop. I cannot wait to see how much Peppa Pig fan art comes out.
I swear to God, each generation is going to get more and more brain rotted. There should not be 5-year-olds who are learning about AI in school.
Yeah, but like, I'm worried, but I'm also hopeful. I'm worried because the amount of like slop is going to start from the youngest age. Like, it's going to be impossible for the internet to have any good stuff that's like created by people because it's going to be bodied out by AI. Or from a young age, people aren't taught to use their own skills or develop uh what's the word? Develop specialties.
Like,
They'll
I
be
actually was about to just,
what?
no, because like, on our, this is a good question, actually. How much is this going to fuck up young people's brains if they're going to realize creativity doesn't matter? The computer's already thought of everything that you could ever make.
Well,
And
that's
if
what I
you want
mean.
to be,
They don't have to learn to have a specialty. They're like, oh, if you want to get better at something, just feed it into the AI. They'll use the collective intelligence of people better than you who spent years crafting this, and you can be just as good as them with no
this is
work.
actually going
Like kids today
to,
already don't like rejection. Imagine when you don't even have to get rejected from your own brain or your own like standards or whatever. Imagine when you don't even reject yourself.
I can just imagine in 20 years, we're going to have the most demoralized and demotivated generation we've ever seen. And that is a surprise coming out of what we have
Dude,
now.
they would look at a naked girl who like wants to have sex with them, and they're like, oh, but I gotta pull out my pants and like, nah, and they just like flop over and then just like a little spider just crawl onto their dick and just start sucking it. Spider
And it
bite.
would all
It'll
be an
all
AI generated.
yeah, it'll all be sussy baka GPT. Okay, I don't know why I picked that one, but like, the reason why I'm hopeful is because maybe this AI teaching will actually teach people to put effort in their AI prompts. Because, like I said, some people don't even put in effort, but at the same time, The only upside is that people get better at actually putting in effort to figure out what the AI wants, which means they have to understand how to do the work a little bit. But then they're still not doing it. They're still not getting their reps, so it's still like a loss.
And as the AI gets better, though, they're gonna be able to get away with being worse at prompt engineering because the AI will be able to make up for that by just being better models in the future.
Yeah, AI starts prompt engineering itself, and then it starts building its own bodies, it starts building its own weapons, starts to start making moral decisions for us, and then, oh wait, Skynet. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. But anyway, guys, make sure you don't create Skynet because
You should do make sure she's hot.
did you say the dude from the Matrix is hot?
Well, I said if you do make Skynet, just make sure it's hot. It's gotta be a cute girl. Age, you know how old she's gotta be. I don't even have to
She's
say it.
4,000 years old, but looks like she's 6.
Hell yeah. I mean,
I like how you just quoted a Instagram account that I've been following. It's this dude who just cosplays as like that one loser 30-year-old who's hitting on his 18-year-old employees.
wait, what the hell? They made an Instagram account about me?
Anyway, guys, I hope you had a good time talking about things that other people have done. I hope it's other people and not you guys that have made everyone else's lives worse. The equivalent of intellectual poison. The equivalent of I was going to say something else, but I don't want to get demonetized. Make sure to like,
What are we talking about?
comment, wash your hands, wipe, flush, and we'll see y'all next time. Wait, what?
And then flush the toilet in that order.
Make sure to flush pollen down the toilet. Make sure to flush a car down the toilet. Make sure to flush ChatGPT down the toilet, especially any device that can
Oh,
connect to it. In our next episode, we're going to be talking about why the plumbing situation in New York has gotten so bad, especially around my neighbors.
and just in case you were wondering, just like human cum, you should not flush plant cum down the toilet. It does not mix well in our sewers.
Wait, I thought the human cum mixes really well, especially when you mix it up together and make it nice. Okay, anyway, we'll see you all next time. Peace.